Record.
Yay.
Perfect. Okay, so here is self-care. Self-care is usually thought about going to the spa, taking a shower, and spending a lot of money to pamper yourself, and that's not it at all. Self-care has your, let's call it, oh, this is the fun part of my job where I get to come up with names. Self-care is the at-home basic care. That's brushing your teeth, getting out of bed, changing your clothes, eating something that isn't junk food. All of this is self-care. Making sure you drink water, exercising, showering, combing your hair. None of these things cost any money. You should be doing them anyway. So this is just basic, essential self-care. That's one element. The second kind of self-care is when you do go all out and you go extravagant. You go out to dinner, you treat yourself to something nice, you go for a massage. And that's when you kind of throw a little bit of money out there and you go all out. I encourage doing that if you can afford it, but it's not necessary. The third kind is based off of what you love and your hobbies. This is the part that a lot of people struggle with, and this is the core. When you do self-care, what you are really doing is reminding yourself who you are. You are an identity. Your identity is not made up of one part. It is made up of thousands of pieces. It is made up of everything you love. You love, and that is who you are. So off the top of your head right now, say 5 things that you love.
My kid, does that count?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My fiance. It's mostly people. My mom, my stepkids. It's
So
all
family.
people.
You're huge with family. Are you a Cancer by any chance?
No, I'm an Aries.
Aries. I don't get along with Aries.
You're
As
doing
long as we're
great
not
right now.
romantically involved, we're fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, we're good. So yeah, what about think smaller? I mean, think what people would call it petty, but it's not petty. Think smaller.
Um,
I'm
this
gonna
is
give
gonna
you
sound
no, go ahead.
arrogant as hell. I love money,
Oh, good, good, very
small, success,
good.
freedom.
Freedom's a big one with me. Anything tangible. Think
Oh,
so here for me is knitting, cats, coffee, food. Oh, I'm a huge foodie.
okay.
Baking, knitting. Yeah, I said knitting. Dancing, singing. Those are things that I love, for examples. Any hobbies?
None.
That would be why you struggle with self-care. That would be it right there.
Need to find a hobby. What
You,
hobbies?
yeah. Knowing what your hobbies are. Hobbies think that hobbies are things that you fill your time with. No, they are not. They are the grounding tools that remind you who you are. And the things we love are exactly what we love. I learned this from Disney. I learned it from Disney. Moana, who
My
am I?
favorite.
She says, who are you? And she says, who am I? I am a girl who loves the island, and I'm a girl who loves the sea. It calls me. I'm a
Mhm.
girl who loves her people. I am the daughter of a priest. And it's suddenly it all came together. And I went, the first thing she does when she says, who are you? She starts talking about the things she loves. Who
Whoa.
we love is part of our identity. What we love is part of our identity. Very much. Very, very much. So when we accumulate the things that we love around us, we are celebrating the self and we are reminding what we are and who we are. So this is all done through hobbies. This is all done through just surrounding yourself with what you love. The other thing that would be the third thing is the hobbies, and then you have the outside. So then the other one is it's basically, how do I explain this one? It's watching TV. It's spending time alone with you. Did I just pick a thought out from your head?
Oh, that was so scary because I was gonna ask, can it be watching TV? Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
My brain, it hurts.
It's just energy reading. It's just being able to read the energies.
Read more.
Read more. Read
Fix
more.
everything. That's so wild.
Yeah.
Whoa. I was thinking that couldn't be so a hobby and like watching TV, those are different.
They are different. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. It depends on how you view TV viewing. For some people, it's comfort. For some people, it's defined as a hobby. For other people, it's defined as this is something I love. It's just what it is.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter if it brings you joy. It
Yeah.
is giving yourself permission to prioritize yourself. We live in a society, especially with women, where we are taught that we have to prioritize and choose between parental love and self-love. When we are 2 and 3 years old, all we want is mommy and daddy to acknowledge us, love us, accept us. So we will do anything. So we do things to please them, all so we can gain their approval. In addition, they turn around and say, good job. You did a great job with that. I'm impressed. Depending upon what kind of parent you have. Let's assume that that's the kind of parent you have. You just encouraged your child to please the parent. This is where psych gets really sick. Because of humans are the only animal in the world that requires 20 years of maintenance from a supervisor in order to even survive. It's astronomical. Octopus, the mother dies as the children are born. They never meet their mother. It's ridiculous. Like, it's not ridiculous. It's just the way the animal kingdom is. So many animals are born and they're up and walking and they're defending themselves in a week and they're independent in 2 months. Humans don't do that. Humans require a caregiver for 20 years. And we have this really dark link between, if I want to live, then I need to be loved. Because if you're not loved, you will die. That is parental love. That is a very powerful, powerful bond. Handled improperly, it becomes highly toxic, which is why so many people are messed up today. So this first acknowledgement of love, this first taste of existence into our world is 100% bound to, you want to survive, love your mother, because your mother has to love you or you'll die. That's deep. This is why mother, daughter, mother, son, fathers teaches you how to be a friend, but a mother teaches you how to live. So there's this massive connection subconsciously that says, I have to prioritize my mother's love just to live. Now, your mother's a narcissist. Think about what that looks like.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level of, I get chills. Every time I think about it, I get sick. Because suddenly you're going, ooh, I have to choose me or my mother. I'll throw myself out anyway, just so I can live. So if my mother loves me, then I can live. But I have to completely destroy my own ego just to keep her happy. So it's horrible. That is why so many of us are messed up. Is because we are taught and conditioned to prioritize parental love above the self. And then women, on top of this, in Western culture, are conditioned to prioritize a husband's love above themselves. Women are conditioned to sacrifice and give everything to their children, or they get labeled as bad and toxic parents. That's what happened to me. Because I prioritize self-love and my own mental health, I take vacations. And my brothers slandered me, called me a bad mom, had names for me, because I didn't completely allow my children to consume my identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrible. And my sister does it. I've watched my sisters do it. I watched my mom do it, where they completely absorb their children's identity. And then the child grows up, moves away, and the woman is left completely shriveled with no identity. This is empty nest syndrome. Empty nest syndrome is completely an abandonment of the self identity, because the identity of the self was wrapped up 100% in the child, who's no longer available. That is a form of codependency, which if it were a marriage couple, if it were a romantic partner, would be discouraged. But because it's a mother with a child, it is expected. And you will be slandered in most cases if you don't cater to that. But it's codependency. It is a high level of codependency. So we are in a society that teaches you, and then let's throw the religion in here. We are taught that self-love is selfish. We are taught that self-love is conceited. It's materialistic. How dare you be greedy? How dare you think of anybody? So our culture is so wrapped up in hating on the self that it's a huge toxin right now. And then when you have people who go out of their way to go, okay, I'm going to take care of myself. I want to better myself. I want to make more money. I want to do more for people. I want to be educated. I want to have a better marriage. I want to have they have all these things, but God forbid you pause and take care of yourself. That's the one thing you're not allowed to do. And if you do, oh, you are slandered for it.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you're overwhelmed. You're pushing yourself through all of this and you're not doing anything for self-care. When you do self-care, how do you feel?
Guilty.
There you go. So guilt, I'm going to tell you right now, you are an avoider.
Okay. Well, see, you got there. We didn't even have to ask my fiance. That was so easy.
Yeah. So that puts you, and being an avoider or a controller is not good or bad. It's just the way we process. Actually, it's how we self-soothe. I'm going to teach you this. This is part of self-care. So when you know if you are a controller or an avoider, that's going to tell you everything is on a spectrum. Remember this. That's going to tell you which side of the spectrum you need to, basically what you need to do for your self-care. If you are a controller, you would seek out things like, I have a friend, I just spoke to her this morning. She's a controller. And she was like, oh, I'm unemployed still. I can't find work. I just feel there's anxiety and I feel out of control. So I started rearranging my apartment and I started throwing things out and cleaning. And I just went, ha, 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 you're a controller. And she goes, I am a controller. Well, how did you know? And I said, well, when you feel anxiety, you manifest your self-care and soothe yourself by controlling your environment. So you found this very healthy outlet to control a situation by changing around your furniture, painting the walls, redecorating, or cleaning. And she had also mentioned how she went out to the gym, how she started drinking more water. And I said, you actually used your controlling requirements to self-soothe in a healthy manifestation way. Beautiful. Now it's on a spectrum. So this is where we all want to be with this. That's where she is. It's great. That's as for a controller, by the way. If you go a little too far, now you're looking at the narcissists. Those are the people who look to control other people. Oh, yeah. OCD people, those are the people who seek to control their environment. This is where it becomes mental illness. This is not healthy. Healthy is soothe yourself in a healthy way. And if you're a controller, these are some ideas. Control your body, control the exercise, control what you take into your system. Somebody who is a sex addict would seek to control. Cutters seek to control their bodies. Mental illness. Narcissists seek to control other people. Now, there's a really toxic side to this where turn it up a little bit more, and now you're looking at the rapists. Now you're looking at the serial killers. They're all controllers. Really toxic, really unhealthy, better, but this is really where you want to be. Now, you are an avoidant. As an avoidant, your self-soothing and your self-care is going to be avoidant based, which means you probably like being alone. You probably enjoy quiet time. You probably love reading books and being indoors more than going out and having parties. And you probably don't like to socialize.
Yep.
Yep. So that being said, you self-soothing would actually be alone time for yourself, which goes back to the TV. Now, that guilt is going to be a problem. That guilt easily could tip the scales into addiction.
That's where addiction
comes from. Oh, yeah. So there's a spectrum. Healthy, watching TV, being isolated, being quiet, literally just sit in silence. Meditating might be really good for you. Oh, do you meditate? You should. Oh, try meditation. You sit in silence and you just focus on your breath. You're alone. You are absolutely submerged in silence and you're just learn your body in that moment. It's really nice. And I'm going to say it, masturbation. Absolutely. Wonderful self-care for avoidance. Okay. So you're over here, actually for both of them. So you're over there on that spectrum. For an avoidant, the mental illnesses that start to creep in on this side is withdrawing, being a shut-in. It would be stonewalling, avoiding full conflict to the point of stonewalling. And then the guilt cycles in with avoidance. And that's when you turn into addiction. That's when a person basically I need to feel like I can control something. I seek this emotion, so I'm going to grab this drink, or I'm going to grab porn, or I'm going to grab whatever. And then you're taking in this substance to supplement so you can continue to avoid. It stops being about self-soothing and it starts being about help me avoid even more. And that's the difference between healthy and not healthy. Is healthy will say, I just need to comfort and soothe myself. Not healthy will say, God, I just need to control, or I just need to avoid. The goal is not to avoid. The goal should never be to control. The goal needs to be to comfort and self-soothe. But when you take it to that extreme, that's where the mental illness comes in.
Well, and can I go back to like something you mentioned earlier? When you're talking, wait, well, my cognitive core, is that what we call it, or you
Yep,
called it?
cognitive core. Yep.
Does that kind of determine what type of, I don't know, person?
No, it
No?
does not. No. What determines if you are a controller or an avoider? I am actually working on a theory. This is why I got into astrology, is because I suspect that a person becomes a controller or an avoider, and you are an Aries. You are an avoidant. My husband was an Aries and he was a controller. You just answered my question. Thank you.
Well, tell me what the question was.
My theory was, is a person a controller or an avoidant based on their astrological sign? No. You can have Tauruses who are controllers and Tauruses who are avoidants. So now my follow-up question is, if the astrological sign and the birth charts do not determine controller versus avoidant, what does? What does? And it doesn't require trauma. It's not trauma that decides this, is it? I got to think about this. I don't know. This is the theory I'm working on right now, is what causes a person to be a controller or an avoidant. I don't know. I do not know. I really wonder if it's the type of trauma they're exposed to as a child, which explains the attachment styles. So an avoidant is an avoidant is avoidant attachment style. If it's unhealthy, you can develop attachment style disorder. Anxious is a controller. So you take into account, in your case, for instance, you are an avoidant. Now, 3 months into your relationship, that thing in your head turns on where you start to go, whoa, this relationship is now serious or official. If you have avoidant attachment style, that is that's a mental disorder. That isn't, well, it's not a mental disorder, but that is not that is an insecure attachment style. When you have that attachment style, it's going to kick in on 3 months and you're suddenly going to want to withdraw. You're going to pull away because you associate closeness with that. The fact that you are getting married, you don't have this. You are not an avoidant.
I do. I have it with
fighting
friends.
with this?
No, I know. With him, I'm fine. It's not romantic, it's friends. I do that with friends. As soon as I start to feel like, oh, we're becoming best friends, I'm like, nope.
You can do it with friends. Oh, this is fascinating. I never had friends. Literally.
I don't either because I push them away.
Friendships, you do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so insightful. With friendships, you do. I do it with friendships.
Look at us. See,
you
get along with Aries.
Apparently, I am an avoidant. Apparently, see, I do. Yeah. Apparently, I am an avoidant when it comes to friends. I have so many fail safes and oh my God, I'm an avoidant when it comes to friends. Oh my God, I'm an avoidant attachment style. Now with relationships, I'm disorganized. I am both an avoidant and a controller. I am both. And I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And I have, And I have had disorganized attachment style, which meant that I did both.
Wait,
You have
how do you, of all people, get diagnosed with personality disorder?
I was a female domesticated slave for 40 years. I was raped for 6 years. I've been a slave. I've, at 4 years old, was exposed to some of the most horrendous animal abuse you could imagine. It's so graphic, I cannot talk about it.
Okay.
By the time I was 8, I was a die-hard animal rights activist and a vegetarian. That is how passionate and severe I was exposed to animal abuse. I am still an animal rights, like I'm not PETA level, but I speak for animals. I speak for those who have no voice. And I also, I'm still a vegetarian because for me, I was treated equal to animals. So it's cannibalism to eat animals because I was treated like one for so long. I was raped on 9/11, and then I became a clinical shut-in for 20 years where I lived in a bedroom. Now, the abuse was so severe that in 1995, I said, everyone here is ignorant and stupid and uneducated. If I want to get out, I have to be smarter than them. So I realized that intelligence and education was a common denominator. All of my abusers were uneducated and stupid. So if I needed to trump them, if I needed to overcome them, I needed to become smarter than them. So this is why I started studying psychology, philosophy, and sociology, because I needed to outsmart them to get away from it. I had Stockholm syndrome, borderline personality disorder, 44 triggers for PTSD, depression, suicidal ideation, and oh yeah, dissociative identity disorder. I had multiple personalities. And when in 2001, after 9/11, I came up with what I just told you, the cognitive core with the 5 elements. I created that right after because of 9/11, where I started to do the work on perspective shifts and the belief system. And that by using that theory with the cognitive core that I showed you, I was able to break out of Stockholm syndrome instantly. Because of that, I was able to finally view, and that's what Stockholm syndrome is. It's when your subconscious completely takes over right down to the conscious mind and idolizes and supports your abuser. And when you finally gain the ability to pull away from that, you can see the abuser as the abuser and no longer as the friend. And then you have anger, and then you can start to heal. So that all being said, in 2015, I hit rock bottom. I wrote a book called Broken. It ended up being an award-nominated book that covered everything on, it was my entire life. And I walked away from the book and went, I need help. So I started therapy. I walked in, and at that time I had 20 years of the psychology under me. I walked into therapy and I went, well, this is horribly inadequate. So all they had me do was talk, and I would be re-traumatized. I would do trauma dumping for an hour, and then I'd go out and I would have all this rage and feelings and very few coping skills. And I went, this is ridiculous. This is so inadequate. So I created a program to supplement my therapy to the point where I no longer needed the therapy because my program was so sufficient. And then I used my program to cure my PTSD, to cure my multiple personality disorder, to cure my borderline personality disorder, which they told me was incurable. So in 8 years, I went from being a shut-in to integrated with my multiple personalities. So I now am integrated. I no longer have borderline personality disorder. I have shifted from disorganized attachment style, and I am now over to secure attachment style, except with friends, apparently.
Yeah, shocking.
And that explains that. Oh, new
For me
belief
or for you?
for me.
Okay,
You
good.
just dropped in. No, you said something about with friends. So after I have a very complicated situation with my VIP. He's an ex. I can't call him that. I cannot call him that. So we've been arguing about whether or not we're friends for 2 years. And I'm like, don't say that word. Don't say that word around me. I don't want to hear the word. I'm the other half of your story. This is interesting. You have the other half of my story. And I'm like, you don't know. So I'm going to share. I have such an aversion to the word friend. It makes me sick to my stomach. I can't hear it. And every time he introduces me as a friend, I get anger and I get rage, which is a red flag that there's something I need to work on. I never realized that we have attachment styles to friendships. So he's been pushing this whole, why can't I just call you my friend? I don't want to hear the word. And I just realized that that is why I have such an aversion to friendship, is because the minute he calls us friends, I gotta run. I gotta run. That's avoidant attachment style coming out. That is 100% avoidant. So I'm not secure. I'm avoidant when it comes to friendships, which is why I have no friends, which is why every time he calls me a friend, I have a severe desire to run as far away from him as I can. So this is what it feels like. Now, ironic. Oh, this makes so much more sense. He's an avoidant also, avoidant attachment, but with relationships. Booyah. That is why we can't date. This is the problem. This is all coming together. All right.
Yay.
All right. So yeah, he hit 3 months in. 3 months in, I hit anxious attachment, and I disorganized and avoidant. Yeah, anxious attachment. And he freaked out and his avoidant kicked in and he tried to run away. And it's been like this avoidant attachment the whole time. And then he said, what, can we just be friends? Why can't we just be friends? Which is the avoidance way of saying, if we're friends, I can stick around you. But it's triggering my
opposite for you.
And I'm going, no, I got to run away. So you within you just explained my entire relationship, not a relationship. That makes sense.
Yay.
I understand me now. I understand the whole dynamic. And it's May 19th. Exactly what the tarot card said would happen. Yes. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. This was predicted in all my tarot cards. I actually have an email that I'm going to read it to you because this is extraordinary. This is why I'm studying astrology. So I wrote to I need a word for this woman. She is my guru when it comes to, she's extraordinary. Her name is Gadira. There's astrology and then there's Gadira. Cool. So we have a lot happening with astrology right now to the point where by tomorrow, my romantic life will all be worked out, figured out, and I'll be able to navigate it. And they said that on the 15th of May, I'll have a breakthrough, and I did. They said on the 18th and 19th of May, I will have a breakthrough. And on the 20th of May, tomorrow, I will have a breakthrough, and it will finally settle the relationship that I have. So I wrote to her and said, can we meet? And she said, I can't, I'm too busy, but this is how you can survive the weekend. It sounds like you're gaining some more clarity in a way as well. Direction 2, maybe? That's great. Currently, I'm not able to do any mentoring, mainly because I am in a tricky situation. The sex magic is likely the product of the new moon happening today in about 45 minutes, actually. It's in Taurus. I'm a Taurus, and my moon is also in Taurus. So I'm getting double hit from the moon and Taurus. It's in Taurus, which represents the senses and the natural world. Venus rules Taurus, and the moon loves being in Taurus. Your intuition is connected more deeply, which is why I'm picking up on you. It might be really powerful for you since your body is engaged. To prepare for tomorrow, I would suggest simply taking it easy, especially with what you've been through lately. That's a combination of astrologer advice and nursing. Mars is the planet of action and sex, which could also explain the sex magic, but he also rules Scorpio. Ooh, why do I see Mars as being a woman? Interesting. But he also rules Scorpio. And if my memory is correct, that is a tricky placement for you. And it is, it's interesting. The day I was raped is when Uranus was in Scorpio. And my Uranus is in Scorpio.
Oh my God.
That was also predicted in the cards. It said, according to tarot, that the retrograde that just ended last month, I'm going to have a really hard time of it. And it's basically when Mercury enters Taurus. I have a Taurus sun, Taurus moon, something else is in Taurus, and my Mercury is in Taurus. So when the Mercury retrograde happened, it was hell. And then, according to the tarot, and as predicted, everything like clicked, and I wrote it, and it felt so great. And then Uranus passed into Scorpio, and I was raped. And I do mean while it passed in, I was in the basement. It's been extraordinarily aligned. This is why she was like, I want to watch this, because I'm literally like the cards are so aligned right now. It's like they are personally written for me. It's been amazing. My daughter's been following them for 3 months, going, Mom, look, this is like dead accurate. And I'm like, I know, we're watching the cards.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been extraordinary. So yeah, basically with what's happening tomorrow with Mars moving into its position, it's now grossly affecting my romance and my love life. And it said that thing you've been confused about for 2 years is about to get completely clear. You're going to receive a breakthrough. You're going to get clarity, and things will settle down. And I just got the clarity. Thank you.
Yay.
It was the whole son of a bitch. I'm an avoidant when it comes to friendships. So as he's pushing on this whole, can't we just be friends? I'm panicking. Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on a call. Just wanted to check. I'm in this place in my brain where I'm going, I can't process this. So I know, I now know how to fix it, and it's not going to be easy. I don't know. I don't know. This one I don't want to have any friends.
I know. No, I feel you. I like virtual friends. That
I
counts.
love virtual friends.
But
Yeah,
it's like
I love
having
virtual
them
friends.
here. I don't like in-person friends.
Yeah, I don't like those either. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
to have the space. So like when I'm all done, where we just kind of go, okay, bye, and hang up, and then we're okay. And then we can talk again.
I love that. And it's
Yes.
so funny. I was talking to this one guy this morning, and I went, okay, my energy is too tapped out. I need to turn this off. And I was looking for any excuse to get off the phone with him because the energy was just too much.
Yeah.
I was just ready to like, all right, I'm bored with this conversation. I'm all done. I feel icky, and I just want to kind of cleanse my energy. And then I literally have like maybe 3 friends total. And I love this. I'm like, yes, I only have like 2 or 3 friends. And this is my identity. So back to self-care. This is it. Knowing all this crap about you, knowing all this information allows you to navigate everything around you in such a way that you can better plan, better predict what's happening. You can go, oh, I'm feeling tired. Emotions are your subconscious communicating to your conscious mind, hey, this is what the system needs right now. But we are taught in our society to suppress those emotions instead of listening, and we're not taught how to communicate with our subconscious. So you have all this information and data coming into your system, and you're not taught how to read it. So when you feel overwhelmed, it's because you are neglecting self-care. When you feel confused, it's because somebody is tampering with your belief system, or you're in a math class. You're receiving, yeah.
How do you, where are my notes? Where did they go? Hang on, because I had another question for you. How do you develop and know these 5 elements? Because I feel like I don't even know what my ethics or my beliefs or my anything is.
Wonderful question. Thank you. It's all from philosophy. This is 100% covered in philosophy. And I'm going to keep it simple for you. 7 habits for highly effective people by Stephen Covey.
Oh, I have that.
Yes, that man teaches you how to define your ethics. He's using philosophy and formal argument, by the way. He teaches you how to do it in that book. So I actually have a reading list, and that is one of them. That is like up there. That teaches you what your ethics are. You are going to, think about the 10 commandments. Think about, and this is great. All right, so we're going to do this exercise right now. This is fun. I love doing this stuff. All right, so you have 2 parts of your emotions. You have your brain emotions that all come from your cognitive core. And most of those emotions all come from up here, and they're here because it's in your brain, it's in your id. Your other emotion is actually your intuition, which is all in your gut. It's definitely down in your solar plexus near your navel. So they're not the same thing, not at all. Your gut instinct completely goes off of your 6th sense, and it comes off of you reading the energies. It's when something doesn't feel right. It's that I don't quite want to do that. And that's the gut, that's the instinct. Emotions are when you have all this data coming in and you feel confusion, you feel fear, anxiety, happiness, arousal, sad, depression. Now you're getting into all the emotions from the cognitive core. And when you, I'm going to ask you what the question was again. Cognitive core, right, ethics. So when you select your ethics, you listen to the intuition. That all comes from your intuition. So let's go through it. How do you feel about killing people?
Not good. Well, don't sign me up for that one.
There you go. Yeah. But let's analyze it. So yeah, most people are going to go, ooh, no, yeah. So at what degree? Let's pull it apart. At what point will you kill someone? Will you die before you kill someone? Will you let your child die before you kill someone?
Would I let my child die before I kill someone?
All in the intuition. Feel the intuition. Feel the
no.
Yeah, there you go. And it's instant. It's instant. So there you go. The other one is violence. Let's tune it down. Let's go away from killing. Let's just look at violence. How do you feel about being violent?
I will do what is necessary. That's what I would say.
So let's assume it's not necessary and you live in an environment that's just day to day and you see somebody else being violent. What gut feeling do you have in the pit of your stomach? Is it, that's not my problem? And this is not judgmental. This is absolutely no judgment. Do you see somebody and go, oh, they totally deserve that? Or do you go, nah, that's not my business? Or do you feel sick and you want to help the person that's being beaten up?
Yeah, sick.
Okay. Yeah. So you're a pacifist. There you go. That's one of your ethics right there.
I don't know what that word means.
Pacifist? A pacifist is somebody. I've been a pacifist for so long, I don't even know what it means anymore.
I don't even know how to spell it.
Pacifist. Pacifist.
I was not even close.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, pacify, Pacific Ocean, that kind of pacify.
Got it.
A pacifist is somebody who absolutely does not believe in violence. Gandhi was a pacifist. I am so sensitive to violence and I am so anti-violence that I have an ethical problem with swearing. I'm trying to learn how to stop swearing because swearing for me is violent because it hurts my energy and it contaminates my energy. And this is my ethic, preserve the energy. The energy pool is my priority. And anything that disrupts the energy pool, anything that's toxic that goes into the pool, I'm not okay with. So this is my ethic, is preserve the energy pool because we're all affected by the energy pool. And I have committed my life to loving and preserving others and life. And to do that, you preserve the energy pool. So yeah, I'm very much, I'm like a part-time Buddhist. There's some things with Buddhism I do not agree with, so I can't take on that title, but
you believe in ghosts?
Do I believe in ghosts? No, I believe in the energy.
Got it. Okay.
I believe that the energy is made up of spirits and all the energy of people who have lived prior to us. I believe that when we die, our energy just goes back to the energy pool. And every time we breathe in, we are breathing in the energy of our ancestors. And every time we breathe out, we are exhaling the energy of our ancestors. And
so it could make sense that my house has been creaking and making and sounds like footsteps the whole time we've been
energy. It's the energy. And this is scientific documented. This is quantum physics, by the way.
Yeah, which I see that. Now you're speaking my language.
There you go. There you go. This is, I'm studying bioenergetics while I do this. So I'm also bringing that in going, okay. So yeah, huge on ghosts, huge on the supernatural, like very much. But I don't do the whole granola crunch. I don't get me wrong, I'm totally hippie. But when it comes to this is where I pull out my science side and go, okay, I want to know the scientific explanation for all of this. I want to understand astrology. I want to understand how it plays into the planets. So when we are born, the planets all move. They each have their own energy. Everything has an energy. And well, that's aura. Aura is the energy that halos whatever's around anything and everything. So when we are born, the planets are absolutely in exact position at the time and location of our birth. And that infuses us with the energy as we come into the world. we pull in the energy. I believe it's because we take our first breath, and when we take that first breath, we consume the energies that's all around us at that moment. And when we do that, boom, there's your zodiac sign. There's your human design. Now you have the world's energy from quantum physics and the planets imprinted upon who and what you are going to be. Now, trauma always trumps zodiac. Trauma always can change the energies. So you could be a Taurus who behaves like an Aquarius. You could be an Aries who behaves like a Cancer.
Which is definitely not the case.
You're an Aries. Oh, there's a lot happening. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're feeling Mars. You're definitely going to be sensitive to Mars.
Well, that explains a lot, because I'm not a crier, and I was crying like crazy yesterday. What else has happened? I'm losing my hair.
That's the stress, and that's because you're picking up. See, this is what I'm studying now. This is where I'm going. All right, I got the psychology, but I want to see how this all ties into astrology, because it's related. I know it is. I know it is. I just want to know how. So yeah, that would be it. Is you're picking up on Mars moving into this new position tomorrow.
Okay, and that will pass. That will.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. So for instance, Jupiter is moving into a position, and Jupiter is going to be here for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, Jupiter's moving into Taurus, and so my Jupiter is in Taurus. So I'm gonna. But this is a good thing. Jupiter being in Taurus means you get life, abundance, love, money, wealth. It's like literally, I just opened up the fruit basket because I have 4 Tauruses. Like, yeah,
I want to do that.
Yeah. So
I should have been born in a different month.
No, Taurus it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But you have like everyone has like a full range. Like you just know your sun sign.
Yeah, I don't know anything else.
Yeah, you have a moon sign and you have a rising, an ascending sign also in your first house. The first house defines your identity. Look at me talking like I know what I'm talking about.
Moon sign, rising.
And ascending or rising, same thing, yeah.
Ascending / rising.
Yeah, and that tells you, yeah. And that's how the rising is how you appear to other people. So my Leo is rising. So I appear as a Leo to other people.
That's really interesting. My fiance is a Leo. Just why I like you, I think. Because you appeared like a Leo, and I was like, I know that. I recognize that.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of people see my Leo before they see the Taurus. And I
don't know anything about that.
About which?
Taurus. I don't know anything. I don't think I've never had a friend that's a Taurus, to be honest, because I have a friend.
Yeah, there you go.
None of my family members are.
Oh yeah. So Taurus. So this is what I know about Aries and Taurus. We get along really well until we disagree. As soon as we have a disagreement, it's going to become basically Aries. I can't say that Aries will do anything to make sure that they win the argument.
That sounds right. Yes.
A Taurus will go, you're not worth my time. And I'll just walk away and say, screw this shit. In fact, this is one of the reasons why I got divorced in 2020.
Oh, I got it.
My Aries husband, well, we were reading astrology signs, and it said, everything is great between the Aries and the Taurus until you disagree. And then the Taurus will be forced to do everything the Aries wants to do until the Taurus quits. And my husband, who's a narcissist, got angry. He started saying, that's not true. Meanwhile, to keep the peace between the household, I had submitted on everything. I had been silent on everything. So not only was he denying that he was doing that, he also turned around and insisted that it was wrong. And I said, you don't know how often I keep my mouth shut. And he went, that's bullshit. It's on. I'm just going to show you who I really am now. So I did. Mind you, this was done March 2020. Lockdown was just ordained. So this is how we started lockdown, is with me facing off with an Aries going, okay, all right.
I'll show you.
I'm going to show you how not passive I am.
Right.
Actually, no, I said to him, I'm going to show you just how passive I have been. So I spoke up. on everything.
Oh my God.
I let my full personality, everything came out, and I just went through it like, no. And I was divorced in 6 months.
Good. I mean, that sounds like a win to me.
It was a win. It really was a fantastic win. But that is my one solid experience with the Aries Taurus compatibility. So, Taurus, we are renowned for, there are two words that are used a lot with Taurus that I hate. So I don't use them. I'll tell you about them later. But we value and appreciate the finer things in life. We love the fuzzy pillows. We love the cozy, furry, fuzzy blankets. We love cuddling and hot chocolate in front of a fireplace. We love food and cooking. And we have no problems dropping X amount of dollars just to have a really nice dinner at a nice restaurant. And then we will sit there and savor the food for 4 hours while we eat, talk, and just enjoy the company. We will, when given the option to buy jewelry, we will spend that extra, put out the extra expense for quality, because we value the quality and the beauty of the item above cheap costume jewelry. That does not fly with a Taurus. So you would find cashmere on a Taurus. You would find them valuing the finer life. Taurus has a real problem with spending money because they're constantly living it up, and just, it's how they self-care, is by showering themselves with stuff like that.
You must have something in Taurus then.
Oh yeah, probably.
I must have a moon somewhere in there.
Yeah. In addition, we also are huge on nature and being in the elements, and we are grounded. We love the earth. Taurus are so tuned into the earth. We are actually referred to as earth goddesses, because Taurus are so down to earth with it. And I have 4 elements all in Taurus.
Which explains why you're in a tent inside. It makes perfect sense now.
With fuzzy pillows and fuzzy blankets.
I love it. And the whole animals thing, that makes a lot of sense to me. You got the fuzziness and the this. If I could put a word on this.
The biggest thing with Taurus, though, is when we make a decision, there will be nothing that takes us away from that decision. Once we decide, we don't change. It's not stubborn, it's determined.
Yeah, of course.
The astrological sign, we are often referred to as materialistic and stubborn.
Oh.
And I say to that, okay, first of all, you need to increase your vocabulary. And second of all, no, it is an appreciation for the finer things. And we value comfort, but it's determination, not stubborn. Stubborn is Capricorn, who's the goat. And they are stubborn. My mom's a Capricorn. My daughter's a Capricorn. Yeah. Capricorns are stubborn. And it's not the same thing. The difference is you can with a Taurus, you can change a Taurus's mind many times. If you can present the proper argument, you can convince them of anything. But once they decide, that's it.
Oh wow.
That's it. There is no, like, if I decide I'm doing something, there is nothing, which is for me, if I decide I'm going to break up with somebody, they're done. They're done. I burn the bridge. I burn the matches that burnt the bridge. I'm done. Like, yeah, it's a messy process. When I decide, to the point where I sometimes I dread my decision, because I'm going, I know once I decide that's it. Nothing will sway me. Nothing will change. Which is what happened between my ex and I a few years ago, when he's like, I'm not that way. I haven't done that to you. You're not submissive. I will show you.
Yeah. And that was it.
Yep. Determined. So yeah, we're very determined. So that's Taurus in a nutshell.
Makes sense to me. I see it.
Oh yeah.
I see it. You're like the walking Taurus. I love it.
I am the walking Taurus, and there is so many wordplay in there, and I want to say the walking thesaurus, but it's not the walking Taurus.
Yeah. You can be both.
I am both. Yeah. And I have like 3 signs in Venus, and Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So there's a lot of feminine energy, a lot of feminine magnetism as well.
Yeah, I see that for sure.
Like, all of my signs are just dumped into Taurus. But yeah. So yeah, it's been a lot of interesting information.
Well, this has been the craziest, most amazing like educational and enjoyable conversation I've had in a long time. All those words, they don't go together, but they feel right.
Yeah, that's great. That's all that matters. By the way, that's your gut intuition. So right, we were talking about ethics. So your ethics come from your intuition.
Okay.
That is your alignment. That is knowing right and wrong. And don't rely on religion, culture, or parents to tell you what is right and wrong. You need to sit down and really say, what do I believe in? What is right and what is wrong for me and why? That's the question. And you can come up with as many as you want or need. The more you come up with, the more you know who you are. Now, those ethics become your Bible, become your core. They become your compass, your everything. You live by those rules. That is your ethics. It defines who you are. Your whole system is now going to revolve around the health and condition of those ethics. Your beliefs are, this is where it gets tricky, because I don't think the word belief is an accurate word, but it's the one people use. But belief has 3 different meanings to it. Like, I believe it's going to rain.
Right.
Which actually means I think or I suspect it's going to rain, and that is not at all. One moment, I have to put a cat whisker in my daughter's toes. There we go. Thank you. I just found a cat whisker and I'm like, oh, and I picked it up and then I'm like, I got to put this in her toes.
Cool. Love it. How old is she?
15.
Oh, cool. That's a fun age.
Oh,
Is
no,
she,
no.
is she with the nature and all the things too? Please tell
No,
me.
she's a Virgo and she's an artist. She is a projector. That's human design I'm talking now. And she is more of a, how do I explain her? Let me read her energy. She's very independent, very, very much. This is who I am, and I don't need anybody else. Yeah, that's Virgo. This is who I am. I know exactly who I am, and I don't need any of you.
Very
that's
good.
my daughter. Yeah,
That's what you want. That's
yeah,
my daughter too.
I love Virgos. Virgos are like some of my favorite people. Cancers and Virgos. Yeah, Virgos are all about, they get self-care. They get self-love. I don't have to teach a Virgo anything.
That's
like
awesome.
Virgos get it. Yeah, Virgos get it. We all need to
Love
learn
it.
from the Virgo when it comes to self-love and self-care.
And that's no coincidence that you have one of those. Now, is it?
Yeah. I have a Gemini, a Virgo, and a Capricorn. Yeah.
Oh.
And my VIP is a Cancer. So
what is Cancer? December?
Cancer is July.
July, okay.
December, I want to say, is Sagittarius, but that might be October. It's funny, when I get to the end of the year, I can't remember.
Yeah, that's okay.
Bizarre. It's so bizarre. When I get to October, November, December, I have no idea what November is. I have no idea what November is.
Scorpio.
That would be why I have no idea what November is. Yeah.
We don't want it.
Yeah, I don't have any Scorpio friends. I don't have very many friends. So I have a Gemini
We
friend.
keep coming back to that. We're like, oh yeah.
I have no friends. I have no friends because I'm an avoidant.
Right?
Oh, that is so wonderful. I'm an avoidant. Like, that really clarifies so much the dynamic between, so we've been jumping around so much to talk. I love it. So with ethics, so with beliefs, a belief is, and I'm going to get right down to the ugly core of this.
Cool.
Belief that I was raised with was, a woman needs a man to feel loved. Okay. That's a belief. Another belief that I was raised with was, girls should not be smart.
Okay.
A lot of our beliefs come from the patriarchy. Can you tell?
Yep. I could figure.
Now this is where it gets ugly, because we have societal beliefs, parental beliefs, religious beliefs, and cultural beliefs, and personal beliefs. Yeah, I needed to talk about this. This is like it. We suffer when our personal beliefs are being contradicted by religion, cultural, parents, society. Oh, this explains everything. So my actual remaining PTSD triggers, the very few that I have left, are literally the patriarchy. Every time I'm exposed to the patriarchy and the women are less than men attitude, it triggers me, which is actually the belief from the patriarchy. It's that the trauma was so significant that I have a trauma associated with the actual belief itself. So when I hear the belief, instead of going into confusion, chaos, conflict, and then my subconscious betrays me, my subconscious armors up, gets angry, and says, "Get out of here. I know exactly what you are." And suddenly, like, it protects my system from the patriarchy. I need to do the same thing for gaslighting. We all need to do the same thing for gaslighting. If we can figure out, you don't want to do it to the point where it's PTSD triggering, but you do want that defense mechanism. You want the assertive defensive. It's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. The answer is there. It's a spectrum. The subconscious needs to be in the spectrum so that instead of going all the way over to PTSD, it instead goes a little bit into aggressive assertion without tipping the scale into trauma PTSD. You don't want to rewire the nervous system. You do want to train the subconscious to defend against outside. But when the defense comes in from an abuser and you flop, fight, flee, or fawn, this is, I'm back to that again. It's something I've been stuck on, is trying to figure out how to prevent fawn and flight and flop from happening. I'm a fawner. So when I'm being abused, I play along and laugh because that's my defense, and I can't stop that. I hate it so much. I don't know how to change it. And that's another thing I've been researching, is trying to figure out how to change that. And I just can't grasp it. I can't wrap my hands around it to say that's it right there. So that's something else I'm still working on with psychology, is trying to figure out how to teach the subconscious. And I think basically it's going to be conditioning. It's going to be classical conditioning, which is brainwashing in layman's terms.
I'm okay with it if it works.
Yeah. And I mean, brainwashing and conditioning are very, very, very much a part of human psychology. And hypnosis is actually part of it, which I am absolutely against. I have a serious problem with hypnosis.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me more about that, because I'm in a class right now where we do that, and I had no idea.
What class are you in that you're doing hypnosis?
I forget what she calls it. It's like money mindset mastery, I want to say.
Okay, that might be entering the vortex and using positive affirmation and mantra. Is that what you're doing?
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Abraham Hicks. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yes, that I know.
I know what that is. That is not hypnosis.
Okay, so we're good.
We're good.
Okay.
Yes, I am very familiar with Abraham Hicks, and yes, what you are doing is actually dabbling in the vortex. The vortex is a river of energy that flows. It is the energy pool. The energy pool has a rhythm and it flows. And when you learn how to flow with the energy, when you listen to your intuition, then you connect and you align with it, and the system just falls into place and everything.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yep.
That is not hypnosis.
Okay.
Hypnosis is when you literally rewire the nervous system. The problem is the subconscious likes to bury memory inside of the subconscious very deep. And when you hypnotize, you could be messing around with programming that the subconscious played around with in your brain without knowing it. And now you're messing around with the subconscious. Don't do it. Hypnosis is so dangerous. But what you are talking about is something completely different. So an example of hypnosis being dangerous, this is a great example. This is a true story. When I was 8, I was traumatized so severely that my core self, Angela is my name. My core self was suppressed in the 4th level of my subconscious. My memory completely wiped from age 8 and past. And an alter, Joanna or Anna, was put in place. Then my subconscious wiped Joanna's memory clean, convinced Joanna that she was fine. And Joanna continued to eat meat for 38 years. Okay? My subconscious, Angela, buried inside of my subconscious, sent off messages to the system saying, we're a vegetarian. So I received severe physical illnesses every time I ate food for 38 years.
Oh my God.
38 years. In addition to that, my subconscious gave me a dream, a reoccurring nightmare of the incident that I relived every single night for 38 years.
God.
A year ago, I found out, it was great. Like, I found out that I had multiple personality disorder, and all my personalities and alters started coming out. And Joanna was like, oh my God, I have alters? Joanna was an alter. Joanna thought she was the core. So then there was a time period about 3 months where Joanna dug and found out that Joanna is not the core. Joanna was an alter. Joanna then had to deal with the trauma of realizing she was a clone, that she wasn't real.
Oh my God.
And then there was that nightmarish trauma. And then literally 2-3 months ago, there was an incident where my alters, Imagination and Joanna, were arguing. No, Colin and Imagination were in an argument. And when the two of them were arguing, I had enough. That's when Angela, came out and said, you know what? I don't need alters anymore. I can take care of this. Thank you. You guys are making a mess of everything. I'm taking over.
Oh my God.
I've been integrated ever since. When I found out that, when I remembered that I was a vegetarian, instantly I went, this is a year ago. I went, I'm a vegetarian. I remember. And I remembered the incident. I remembered the dream. I remembered being suppressed. I remembered my subconscious plugging away this other, like, I remembered it all. So I switched over to being a vegetarian. The nightmare stopped. My ability to eat food without paying immediately vanished overnight. Now, what if somebody comes along and tried to hypnotize me?
Yeah.
How would they even know that all of that shit was in my head?
Right.
What damage would that have done if they went in to hypnotize and they're messing around with that system?
Who knows? That's
exactly.
really.
Who knows? The subconscious has one purpose: to protect you, your conscious mind and identity from abuse. Not even, they just want to protect the identity. Your subconscious exists for only one purpose, and that is to preserve and protect the identity. And it will do it at any and all costs. Your subconscious will mutiny, suppress you, force you down, wipe your memory, change your name, take your identity, alter your vegetarian state. Your subconscious will do anything. It will betray you and become best friends with your abusers to keep you. And then people come along hypnotizing. No, you don't touch hypnosis. Do not touch. No. Now you're messing around with the subconscious on such a huge level. You don't touch it. Same thing with EDMR. I think it's called EDMR.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And I'm going, you are messing with the subconscious. That's dangerous. You don't know what you're dealing with. You don't know what is there. There's 5 levels of the subconscious. And people don't know this. This is because I lived in my brain for 38 years that I can say all this stuff. Because, I'm sorry, 34 years. I was split when I was 8. And I'm 43 now. So it was 34 years. Because I lived inside of my head for 34 years, I'm able to break all this down. This is why I'm so good at psych, is because I lived inside my head. I walked the halls of my brain, and there's 5 levels. The first level is where all of our cognitive thinking comes from. That's when you have conversations with your subconscious. That's when you hear voices in your head. That is when, do you hear voices in your head? I'm assuming everyone else does. You don't hear voices in your head?
No, I get sometimes loud screeching, but that's about it.
Wow. I'm a multiple. So there was always conversation. So when you have internal dialogue, do you ever do that internal dialogue with yourself?
I don't know. What does it sound like? Just literally talking back and forth?
Yeah, this is interesting. Do you have it?
I don't know, because I don't know.
Okay, all right. It's things like, oh, Anna, why did you do that? And then Berrigan pops up with it. I don't know, well, so why'd you do that? And then you're just like, okay, well, I don't like the way this was done. And Colin's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have done it that way. And this is just all the jibber jabber that's been going on in my head. Now, since I've been integrated, it's been gone. So it's quiet. Yeah, since I've been integrated, it's been quiet. So you guys as in non-multiples, you guys don't hear, like there's no conversation.
Not usually. Not
Interesting.
that I can remember. I'll be honest. I don't know. I feel like I live outside of my body. Like, or I'm stuck in my head. It's one of the two. Like, I never feel fully present. I always feel like I'm somewhere else. So
Your third eye is open. Yeah, your third eye. That's usually something to do with your third eye being very, very strong and present. How do you do with grounding? It's neither good nor bad. It just is.
It just bees.
It just bees. It just bees. How's your grounding? How's your
No.
Oh, damn it. You know, that makes so much. I'm back to this again. Every time a friend invites, like every time we arrange, oh my God, I cancel every event. Whenever a friend and I try and get together, I cancel.
Yeah. And if you don't cancel, you really, 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 really wish you had canceled.
I thought it was social anxiety. It's not social anxiety. Holy shit. It is friendship avoidant attachment.
I think we just discovered something.
We did.
Write it down.
No, this is recorded. Remember, we're recording.
Okay.
Like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like, we're gonna get off and I'm gonna immediately go to work like, oh right. And I'm gonna be like scribbling and making notes and doing articles and webinars and like, this is fascinating. And then you're gonna get an email and I'm gonna say, hey, Destiny, is it okay if I share this on my blog and show people what we talked about? Hi, people. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this. This is very good stuff. So I'm trying to think, is there anything? So yeah, ethics and beliefs. So the beliefs, going back to the beliefs, to figure out what your beliefs are. This is hard, and I'm still working on this. This is actually where a lot of my research and focus has been lately, because I'm wanting to do worksheets so people can figure out, because in order to locate a toxic belief, to remove it, and I haven't been able to, like, I find my toxic beliefs, but it's through exploratory dialogue, and it's quite accidental so far. I don't want it to be accidental. I want it to be on purpose. I want to, on purpose, go into my brain, argue with myself, locate the exact toxic belief. I need to record my exploratory dialogues and actually watch myself doing this so I can break down the process that I use so I can teach others how to do it.
Have you ever had a limiting belief clearing done?
No, what's that? I've never heard of it.
We do it in that thing that I was telling you about, the money mindset thing. And the way she does it is she has you obviously go into like a meditative state. And then you ask your subconscious or your intuition, I don't know what it is. Either way, you ask it, take me to the moment in time, whether it's pre-birth or in the future or wherever, that belief became a belief. And then you go there, and then like she makes you do some other stuff, and then she tells you to go really high up, and then she clears it.
Okay.
Which I'm not doing it justice, so Google it.
Yeah. What's it called again?
Limiting belief clearing.
Limiting beliefs. I know about limiting beliefs. I don't know about limiting beliefs clearings.
Apparently it's very effective. I think it helps a little bit, but I'm also, not a great example. So
Limiting beliefs. Cleansing, you said?
Clearing.
I will research that, recognize that as just a belief, challenge your own belief, adopt a new belief, put it into practice. Wow. Yeah, this is it. Identifying one of your limiting beliefs. This is it. Except it's not a limiting belief. I would not call it a limiting belief.
Maybe you could do it just for
a limiting belief. Is I would call a limiting belief a belief that comes from your culture, society.
Right. I think that's what they're saying. I think that's exactly right.
But it's not talking about toxic beliefs. It's not talking about when an abuser comes along.
Right.
Okay, here you go. Here, I know. I just got it. Tapes. Our tapes will do it. Our tapes are the answer. We have internal tapes. We have internal things in our head that constantly speak to us. It was really hard realizing that my internal tapes were not my alters speaking. It took me a long time to hear the difference between my alters speaking and my tapes. So
see that.
Let me pull from my mental sick here. Let me, what is a limiting belief? No one chooses me. There you go. There you go. That's an easy one. No one chooses me. No one chooses me. I'm going to cry. No one chooses me. No one ever chooses me. I'm not that person. I am always somebody's affair, or I am always somebody's second wife, or I am always somebody's settled seconds, or I am always the other woman. I am 43 years old and I am single because no one ever chooses me. So this is a belief I have. It is one that I don't touch. I leave it alone and it just follows me everywhere. On Sunday, this is 3 days after my rape, I was sitting with my VIP on the couch and the rapist messaged my VIP with a whole, oh, she's got multiple personality. No wonder why she's crying rape. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. Been integrated for 2 to 3 months. I saw it, and my first thought was, my VIP is going to choose my rapist over me. I stood up, I grabbed my bags, and I started to pack. He went, Anna, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't want to be around when you choose to believe him over me. And he called me back to the couch very gently, and I said, no one chooses me. So I'm going to bring this back in. That's how it comes up. Somewhere in my brain over all of my life, I have something in me that's constantly playing, saying, you're not going to be chosen. And I don't know if someone gave me this belief or if circumstance gave it. I think circumstance. I think this is logical deduction due to just experience.
Right. And back to your whole, yeah.
Right.
And here, finish the sentence. We were both thinking the same thing. You're like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, that is an example of, yeah, I would call that a limiting belief. And it's one that I formulated based off of just happenstance. So you have some beliefs that don't come from abuse. They just are circumstantial. So yeah, I think it's the third tapes. It's the third party tapes. Now, my son was horribly abused by his stepfather. And he was called stupid by my ex-husband the entire time. My son was, I think it was 10 years of abuse. Was it 10 solid years? 12. Yeah, I was married to him for 12 years. So my son, 18 years old, has 12 years of you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid.
Exactly.
You're stupid. Now, this is a toxic belief from an abuser. This is not a limiting belief. I mean, yeah, it's a limiting belief, but it's not something that's cultural. It came from somebody who verbally and physically attacked him with this toxicity. Every time I talk to my son, he says to me, I'm stupid, remember? Every time. And I built the healing garden to give to him. That's why I'm doing it, is because I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I can build and put this together and I can just hand it to him, maybe I can save my son. So yeah, the healing garden is absolutely my be all end all of trying to save my son from his own mental illness, and I can't get to him. My daughter, my oldest daughter, has Stockholm syndrome and idolizes my ex, and I can't get to her. So I have the garden that I built so I can reach my children who are mentally sick. But they have these limiting beliefs. So I think to find out what your beliefs are, you have to access your third-party tapes.
Okay.
And when you access your third-party tapes, you ask questions like, this is what I believe. Where did this come from? When's the first time this was said to you? Who said it to you? Where were you? Remember what you were doing and who you were with when you heard these things being said to you. That will recall the memory, and then you need to replay the memory. The problem is with something like "you're stupid," quote unquote, that was not a one-time incident. That was 12 years of constantly being conditioned into him. So on something like that, it would be focus on the first time. Focus on the first time you believed it. Now challenge it. Now he's stupid. So he feels frustration. He feels emotion. He feels confusion. He feels frustration and goes, I can't, I'm stupid, which just validates, because his subconscious is sided with his stepfather, his abuser. So he's got the division. It is him versus his subconscious. And he is literally like almost everything that his mind is on the side of his abuser. He hates his stepfather. He has isolated him off. He's cut him off. He's cut him out of his life. Very good. But yeah, that constant, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, keeps him in this box, in this chokehold, a mental chokehold that my ex-husband put him in, and then held him down. So in the problem with a statement like I'm stupid is every time you feel confrontation, every time you feel challenge, every time you feel obstacle, you quit. And then you follow through with, I'm stupid.
Right.
No, that's not stupid. That is frustration. That's confusion. So he's misinterpreting all of his emotions because he was conditioned.
Exactly.
He was conditioned to believe that all of these normal, healthy emotions are just more evidence that he's stupid.
You totally get it. You don't even need to Google it, because that's exactly what, or like look into it or read into it, because that's exactly what we do. We go back to the very first time it happened. She doesn't care about all the other ancillary times. She wants to know the very first time, nip it there, and then we're done. Because after that, if you nip it there, you don't believe it after that.
That's right. And this is not about the abuser. This is the worst part about abuse. All abusers are narcissists. Narcissists have to be the center of attention. They want everything to be about them. Now, when you sit down with a therapist to talk about your healing, the narcissist goes to work and starts going, make it about me, make it about me, make it about me. Tell them how I abused you. Tell them what I did to you. Make this all about me. Now you have a patient going, well, they did this to me. Well, they did this to me. Well, they did this to me. Now you're trauma dumping. And you are giving the narcissist what they want. You are making your healing about the narcissist.
Yeah.
This is it right here. This is it. It's that moment when you say, I'm not going to make this about the narcissist. I'm going to make it about me and my relationship with my subconscious. This is how I cured my rape in a week. This is it. I had people going, oh, you're going to press charges, right? No, I'm not going to make my rape about him. He's a narcissist. He wants me to make it about him. I posted my one statement, no name, no location, no identifiers in my post. No one has any idea where I was. They don't even know what borough of New York City I was in.
Yeah.
Nothing. But he identified himself, admitted to having sex with me, lashed out at me, confessed the whole thing, sought out my VIP, posted multiple articles to me, and I'm going, dude, narcissism. Oh my God, narcissism. They got to make it all about them. I just posted.
Even when he's in the wrong, he still wants to be identified as doing something
because he wants the attention. Yes. He could have said nothing and no one would have known. Right. He could have said nothing and no one would have known. This is the beauty of narcissism. I did my one thing. I did my one article. I walked away and I'm focusing on healing. I'm working. I'm doing the healing garden. I'm focusing on my mental health. I got people going, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I am not making my healing about him. I am not making my abuse about him. I'm not going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about me and my subconscious and how my poor little subconscious is just, it's okay, sweetheart. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm making it all about my mind. And this is why talk therapy doesn't work, is because it caters to the narcissist that's still in our brain. Our subconscious is doing the work for them. And subconscious is their buddy So your subconscious goes to work going, let's make my healing and my trauma all about the narcissist.
Right.
So no, stop. And I had a conversation with one of my friends, clients. She has some serious problems. Her mother is very narcissistic. And I mean 60 years of severe narcissistic abuse. And she calls me up and she's crying and she's venting. And I'm like, sweetheart, I have been friends with you. One of those friends who lives in Alaska and I live in New York State. So
perfect.
Yes. Yes. I needed to clarify that. Yes, I have a friend, but she lives in Alaska.
She's a digital friend.
Yes, and I have been friends with her since 2015, and I've never met her. I would love to, but yeah. Ani, who passed away,
don't do it though, just to be safe. Don't do it.
I don't know if I can. And
every
time I've scheduled, twice I was going to meet her, and I canceled both times because I'm avoidant.
Yep, we're avoidant. That's right.
I'm owning it. So what she did, so I'm listening to her. So 8 years of listening to her go on about her mom. Finally, I have all my research done. I've got it all compiled. And I said, look, I'm not going to listen to this anymore. I said, I love you, but we're going to go through this. You are making your abuse about your mother, which is exactly what she wants. Stop talking about her. She goes, well, what do you need? And I know what she's doing. I know what she's doing. So I'm like, why do you need to tell me? I don't know. What do you need from me? I don't know. So I'm going to tell you, she needs to figure this out for herself, but I'm going to tell you what she was doing. We know that the problem is the belief, the supplanted belief. So our consciousness and subconsciousness goes to work immediately, replaying the incident, trying to convince the subconscious to come over to our side. It's immediately there's the divide, and you're over here going, come on, subconscious, come back over. And the subconscious going, no, this is my friend, this is my mom, or this is my father. Like, why would I ever? And your conscious mind is going, yeah, but they hurt you. Yeah, but I deserved it. I deserved it. I deserved it. I'm stupid. And you're over here going, come on over here. We need you over here. You don't deserve it. Yes, I do, because I trust them, because this is my friend, and my friend would never lie. That's the belief. That's it right there. My friend would never lie. My mother would never lie. This person would never hurt me. That is the false belief. Oh, that was a big one that I dug out about 2 weeks ago. My family doesn't care about me. That was the belief. I thought my family cared. About 2 weeks ago, I realized that my core belief was they care about me. They knew I was being raped, and they did nothing. They knew I was being beaten. I had black eyes and I went to school at 12 years old, and no one did anything, because they don't care, because narcissists don't care.
Yeah.
I was told that I deserved it. They don't care. Once I was able to finally reject the toxic belief, my family loves me, my family cares, which made me feel guilty, which made me feel ungrateful. Hello, Narcissism 101. Oh, don't you love me? That's ungrateful that you don't appreciate what I've done for you. Yeah. Oh, I was raised with that garbage. So they give that stuff to you, and you take it all in going, oh my God, I'm selfish if I don't appreciate. This is guilt. This is guilt. This is where guilt comes from. This was done to you at some point, which is why you struggle with guilt, because somebody at some point did the whole conditioning on you going, you deserve it. You're ungrateful if. Look at everything I've done for you. And if I'm hitting sensitive topics and we need to change it, let me know.
Oh, no, that's okay. I'm good. Okay. No, right. I was looking at this is my fidget. This is what I'm fidgeting with. So we're good.
Oh, do you have ADD, ADHD?
I'm undiagnosed, but we had this conversation yesterday. I'm like, I gotta go and see, because I definitely
don't take medication. If it comes back, don't take medication. It is actually a sub-branch of PTSD. I'm curious. And you have depression. Yeah. Yeah, ADHD and ADD are actually a sub-branch of PTSD.
Right.
Not take medication for it.
Oh, okay.
So the way it works, this is one of my favorite stories with psych, is when we are raised around narcissists, they are so loud and abusive that we condense our energy down to fly under the radar so they won't notice us. We do that so strongly that we are actually taking in the energy around us and inside of us, and we are condensing it into a tight ball, which produces shaking, fidgeting, tapping, pacing, walking. I'm a pacer. My daughter shakes. She's constantly like tapping something. She's got to move.
Yeah.
My VIP is constantly tapping and shaking his leg. And what that is when you have all that contained energy heightened inside of you, it turns on your third eye. It turns you into an empath because you have condensed solid energy inside of you. So now you're picking up readings so you can better intuitive where your narcissist is before they attack, so you can continue to fly under the radar. And that is how an empath is born. And you end up developing narcissistic abuse syndrome and or PTSD in addition to flying under the radar. In severe cases, borderline personality disorder develops, which I believe is just another form of narcissistic abuse syndrome. And that's where you have the anxious and avoidant disorganized attachment style come in. It is like, go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering, this narcissistic abuse, it doesn't have to come from a parent. It could come from someone who was just in your life for in a very pivotal time, right? It doesn't, something I'm trying to think who it is, because my parents aren't like that. I have great parents. Like,
who gaslit?
I think I had a horse trainer who I was with for 10 years, and he is like the scum of the earth. And it's one of those things where I think that he's
How old were you?
Oh my God, it was from like 7.
Oh yeah, okay.
Till my teenage years.
Often told you that you were incompetent, you were doing something wrong. Loved you statements. You statements. You did this wrong. You aren't good enough. You messed this up. You startled the horse.
Screaming, yelling.
Oh yeah,
the whole work of getting angry when I would mess up.
And he's a controller. Yes. Physical, or was it all verbal?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both.
A man, right? Tall, right? Big.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of horses? This is my horse passion coming out. What kind of horses?
I need to know. All the horses. I had so many different types.
Clydesdales?
Had Clydesdales. We had a Clydesdale. But I always say he was like, I feel like he wasn't a true Clydesdale. Like, he was a Clydesdale that we called a Clydesdale, and we have the papers, but he never really looked like one. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's interesting. So I came from a horse town. There were so many horses where I grew up that I thought everyone owned horses. I thought cars were unnecessary. You go to fill up gas in your car, and it was normal to park between 2 horses.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh my God.
And it was so common that it wasn't until I was 22 years old and I went, where are all the horses? I don't understand.
Where did you live?
In the central New York, literally 30 minutes from like an Amish town.
I was wondering. I was thinking Pennsylvania, because I know we have heavy Amish there.
I was like 5 minutes, about 10 minutes from Pennsylvania. And we also had, I was like down the road from where I lived. There was a Clydesdale farm. Clydesdales were very popular where I was from. Clydesdales,
makes sense. They're big. And
we had Arabian horses. I had a friend, one of my only 2 friends, who had I just clicked another thing into my psyche place. Ponies. She had ponies, and I would go to her place. Yeah, she's the core of that. She's the core of it. She's the reason why I have attachment style associated with friendships.
Makes sense. I'm so glad we sleuthed this out.
Oh yeah, like it's all like click, 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 click. And I'm just going, okay, this is interesting. So so narcissism. Narcissism is actually my forte when it comes to, of all the psych I do, narcissism is what I do. So narcissism works like this. There's 2 sides to it. There is how they function, and then they have and all the people in their little atmosphere, and then they have their communication system. So the first thing, we're going to go over the players. You have the narcissist. The narcissist is like the kingpin player. They are a controller, and they need to control people and environment and script in order to pull off their illusion. So you have the narcissist, and the narcissist always requires 2 people. The first person it requires is an apprentice, somebody who is their favorite, somebody who basically follows the narcissist footsteps. Everything that the narcissist needs, all the glory, is provided by the apprentice. The apprentice is the first to congratulate, defend, and honor and glorify the narcissist. They are the #1 fan. The second person is called the scapegoat. This is the person who gets blamed for everything. Most empaths were scapegoats. I want to say that all empaths were narcissistic scapegoats, but I don't have the evidence for that yet. So that being said, narcissist has the apprentice and the scapegoat. The scapegoat is the one that receives all the blame, everything, because God forbid, and the purpose of the scapegoat is to receive all the blame for the errors that the narcissist makes. This guarantees that because of the apprentice, the narcissist will always be glorified and perfect and shining. And B, the narcissist will always have somebody to dump all of their faults onto. And that becomes the scapegoat. Now, if you have only one person, then the apprentice will supply both roles. So the apprentice that one person will be the apprentice, glorify them, Stockholm syndrome. And when things go bad, they will be kicked metaphorically and or physically, kicked, beaten, put down, and blamed. Shamed, guilt, very common. Now, the second part of this is the communication system. In order for this to work, the narcissist uses emotions as currency, visibility, acceptance, love, home, affection, attention. These are their tools, and they love absolutely taking down somebody and saying, okay, these are scarcity now. They don't exist. I'm the only provider of those things, and if you want them, you have to serve me. But then they will make it a scarcity. To ensure it's a scarcity, they have to implement a triangular communication system. So there is a divide and conquer between all the players. No one's allowed to talk to anybody. If you have a problem, you come to me. That's what narcissists love to say. If you have a problem, you come to me, because they want to guarantee that the information is going back to the narcissist. You heard it.
No, because Isaac said that
all the time. Yep, narcissists.
I want to message you at work.
That's right. If you have a problem, you come to me. That's because they do not want the two people communicating. They want all the information. That way they can then manipulate and determine what is said to who to gain what trust they need from whoever they want at any given time. Which is why my daughter won't talk to me, is because he's a narcissist and she's the apprentice. So she has Stockholm syndrome, and she was trained and conditioned not to communicate with me. If the children communicated with me, he would beat my children, so that I subconsciously developed a don't talk to me, kids, to keep you safe. So all of this unfolded, and this is the system that they use. If you actually sit down and communicate and talk, you'll find out that there was a lot of manipulation going on. But they purposely will gossip and tell stories about other people, causing distrust between you and everybody else. So you will only trust the narcissist, allowing the narcissist to continue to implement their communication triangle and the control over all the players. Anyone additional outside of the players, the apprentice and the scapegoat, become shelved extras. Their job is to be quiet, shut up, and stay silent. Their job is to be shelved. Oh, fantastic. Oh, I love this. Oh, this is beautiful. Harry Potter.
And they're not supposed to know what's going on.
Uncle Vernon was a narcissist. The apprentice was Dudley. Harry was the scapegoat and the empath. Everything that went wrong, Uncle Vernon blamed on Harry. Harry developed an intuition how to and when to avoid Dudley and Vernon. In addition, his son, who could do no wrong, had Stockholm syndrome and overglorified the beauty and grandness of his father. So you had this child, his son, who was also being trained how to later become a narcissist. Now watch this. Dudley becomes the narcissist, develops two cronies who allow them to support him. He's got two people who then basically are his apprentice. And now when he's alone on the school ground with Harry, he can continue to use and abuse Harry as the scapegoat, blaming Harry for everything, while he uses his two cronies and bullies as the apprentice. Draco also, Draco Malfoy is also the narcissist in that picture, and he's got the two supporters with the cronies. This is how bullies work. It's all narcissism. And they've got the person that they are attacking is the scapegoat. It's literally narcissism in training. That's what bullies are.
This is incredible. Like, I feel like I need to spend, like, can we do this once a week?
Yep.
Please, because I gotta go get my darn kid, but I'm like, I need to know all of the things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like this is what I do. I would love to do this. Yeah, we can absolutely schedule, and I'll give you my link and we can do it again next week. And I'll just keep recording them, and like you can bombard me, and we'll invite people and have
you do your talking and you just, and what's the word? I can't even, my brain is so mushy. Like you just educate me and then you use the content and all of your stuff. I feel like that's exactly
Oh,
what
this is phenomenal. This is phenomenal. I really, this is a great, yes. Because I know
Yes, just
when I mean,
yes.
I do this on my own. I do this on my own. This is my webcam where I jump on a call and I talk and I'm going over things with people, but it's just me talking. And I'm like, I really need like, I would love somebody to rebut off of. So yeah, that's great. Yeah, that would help me a lot.
Yes, we should. And I'll bring problems to you. I'll bring
Yes, do.
actionable. Next time I'm gonna bring like all of my
Yeah.
problems.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Write them all up and I'll go ahead and throw you my masterclass program so you
Yes.
can start coming through that. And that would be
Okay.
good. I do a Q&A on Thursdays. So yeah, actually Thursdays would be fantastic if we could just meet on Thursdays and that'll be part of the Q&A. And then you can comb through it and ask me like, hey, you know, this is great. I want worksheets for this. Can I get worksheets for this? That'd be fantastic. Because then I know, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and write up the worksheets and I'll get them sent over to you. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that. Oh, this has been so good. Thank you so much
Oh no,
for
thank you. Yeah, this
like
is
reaching
huge.
out and
Yeah.
setting it up and all the things. Like I'm really grateful. And I wasn't expecting it to be like this. So this is like,
Usually it's the reverse. Usually I'm walking into one of these situations where I'm talking to somebody and I end up listening to what they do and I talk a little bit about it, but then that's it. And it's funny because are you like late 20s?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. A lot of the women I speak to are in their 40s and 50s, sometimes 70s, 60s and 70s. And they
Wow.
don't need anything. They're like, oh no, I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, it
Not
takes
me.
yeah, you're in your 20s. This is the stuff you do when you're in your 30s. This is the shadow work that hits when you're in 30s and 40s.
So I could get a jump on it, is what I'm hearing.
You can, yes.
Let's
Get a
do
jump
that.
on it. Absolutely. And I'm huge on as soon as you hit 18, you should be right in a therapist. Like as soon as you hit 18, go see a therapist. Everyone's got mental disorders as soon as you're 18. I need to do like a program where it's just, hi, you just graduated from mom and dad's house. Now we're going to clean up their mess.
Yeah, something like that. Hold a cup of coffee too. That you could be a billboard.
Yeah, let's clean up mom and dad's mess. You know, and it's not there's I need to address this. You said something about my mom and dad were great parents. They were, and that's great. That is absolutely great. But there might be a part of you going, the words I'm looking for. Why didn't they protect me? Why
Oh,
did
yes.
they notice?
Oh, yes.
Why did they hire that man?
Yeah.
Why, when I came home crying, didn't they care enough to ask, why didn't they intervene? Why did they fail to protect me?
Yeah.
Your parents may be very great people, but they are people and human.
Right.
And your subconscious might still resent them very much for all of that. And we're going to call it neglect.
Well, I think that's the first thing we should talk about next week.
That'll work. Yeah.
That'll do.
That'll work. Neglect. Let's talk about the neglect that you don't want to admit your parents did.
Let's do it. I want to do that.
Yeah. And I love my mom. I love my mom to pieces. My mom is phenomenal. She's got mental disorders. I figured out her mental disorders when I was 20, 25 years old. And my response to it was, Mom, I love you. And I have to have a relationship with you so I can retain my subconscious health. And I put down a lot of boundaries with her. And I was very realistic about my expectations of her parenting skills.
Mhm.
I went, yeah, she's not going to be a mother. She's not going to be supportive. That's not what my mother can do. What my mother can do is this much. So I'm going to be grateful that I have that much with my mother, and I'm going to have to be the parent in this relationship and keep her behavior in check. And I have for 20 years. I have kept her behavior in check. And when I talk to my mom, I feel like I'm talking to my daughter.
Mm.
My mom, I mean, she's much better. She's at a point now where I can call and cry, and now she actually supports me. Now she
Wow.
actually listens and comforts. I had to teach her how to do that. And now she does. And she does it. I don't know if she does it with my other siblings, but I put the work in with her. I taught her.
Yeah.
So now I can call her and she says all the right things. But it took me 20 years of grooming my mother, teaching her, Mom, this is what I need from you. This is what I need you to do with this situation. Mom, I know you don't know how to handle this, but talking to me about your problems while I'm laying in a hospital room is not what I need right now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that happened a lot. Like, and my siblings, it's been, but now I'm 43. Yeah, I'm 43. She's in her 60s. She's very loving. She's very comforting. She's very affectionate. Now I get off the phone and I go, wow, I actually have a mother now.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well, we
and
need to dive into mine next time is what I'm
yes,
hearing.
absolutely. So absolutely. And in addition to that, there's also accepting the limitations of what your good, kind parents can and cannot do. Accepting your parents as being human and imperfect. That's a huge part of that. That is something every 18-year-old needs to just have. Like, okay, now that you're 18, let's talk about all those expectations you had of your parents that they did fail you at some point. No one's perfect. And now it's forgiveness, making sure that you're forgiving for the right thing, making sure that, and then there are my father, disowned. My brothers, disowned. I did the whole trying to coach them. I did the whole, and it was, my brother was allowed to beat me very, very visibly. It was, everybody knew it. To the point where my mental illness was so severe at one point that my family gave a disclaimer about me behind my back anytime anyone met me. Before you meet Anna, you need to know a few things about her. Yeah, I found that out about 3 years ago. And I went, you guys did what? And my aunts, my cousins, everybody was like, yeah, I got the Anna disclaimer. Did you get the Anna disclaimer? And I found out that my entire family, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, my cousins, my siblings, had a disclaimer that they gave new people when they met me because I was mentally disturbed. But what they didn't tell you was that my brother, yeah. So now I'm at this point where the narcissism is severe and it goes back and forth. And then it just got to a point where he said to me, no one ever beat you. And that was like, we're done here. We're done here. And he partnered that with, you just dabble in psychology and you think you're a psychologist. Adam. And I blocked him, and that was the last time I spoke to him.
Tell him that he's not.
I didn't talk to him. No, I don't talk to narcissism. I refuse to talk to narcissists because that's what they want. They want the visibility. They want you to see them. So as soon as I realized where he was, it was, we're done here. And I blocked him and I've disowned him because I had to get to a point where this is not going to change and it's the abuse is not going to stop. And I went through 2 years ago, I laid down all of my boundaries with him and said, no more gaslighting, respect. And he continued to gaslight me. And I continued to correct him. That's gaslighting. This is literally how we used to speak. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. You're gaslighting me. Stop it. Stop telling me what I should believe. Stop telling me what you think I experienced. Sorry, bringing down the energy. So yeah, she's very, very sensitive to my energy, and my energy is very, so whenever I get going, she's like, Mom, it hurts.
Well, I gotta go get my mom. It hurts right now.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
Mine's little.
Send me an email.
Okay.
Or yeah, send me your email address. And then I will shoot over my material that I have for my masterclass and all of my podcast and all that I've got accumulated for my materials. I'm also doing a own your identity, own it. I'm doing that workshop. It's a 30-day workshop. That's like a Facebook page. So I'll send you that as well. So you can join us on that and you can start filling out how to, which is great because it talks about self-care and self-love, and that's part of it. So
excellent. Well, I'm going to send you my email address. Like as soon as I get back from picking her up, I will send you my email address.
All right, wonderful. And at any time, if you could like shoot me over a testimonial, that would be phenomenal.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. Definitely. Thank you so much, Destiny.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Bye.